Hello, everyone. Very excited for today. Let's get our lighting sorted here. Oh, better. Doc. Okay. Too many things are open. Hey, Maria.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
Your fur-lined collar makes it look like you have pigtails. Long, dark pigtails. Hey, Lauren. Oh,
Did have a work wig once that had pigtails.
really?
Well, it was the wig I was directed to. It was recommended to me to get, and I put it into pigtails because I didn't like it very much. But I don't really have a pigtail face.
Wait,
So
wait,
then I
wait.
put it up into
Did you, what do you mean that your workplace asked you to wear a wig?
well, so I was a stripper for years, which was an awesome job, and I super miss it. And you had to audition at this one particular place with like your full look. And the wig I had bought like wasn't working for the manager. So I like went and took a bunch of pictures because I didn't want to buy many wigs. And she said, try that one. So I did, but I didn't like it very much. So I tried
Pigtails
braiding
and
it and then I looped up both braids into
up,
sort of like,
a Princess Leia look?
yes, a later Princess Leia look.
Hey, it's nice. So here's me picturing you at like an agency counseling center like job, and they're like, your short haircut's not gonna do, my friend. You need to
No,
like professional it up with a messy bun or some shit like that. I was prepared to be
yes,
very offended on your behalf.
yes, no, definitely not. And my hair was much, much, much shorter then. I basically had like a high and tight. So,
Oh, cool.
which totally understandably was not what the peep show was going for, even as it was primarily catering to straight men. So I felt was reasonable.
Well, it seems like, I guess, an okay ask, I guess. Still feel a little bit offended on your behalf.
I mean, heteronormativity is a thing and was even more of a thing in the early 2000s.
Yeah, no shit. All right, let me get you the linky link for our thing today. Anyone with the link can view. That's the one we want. Before we start, I might as well show you. I've been playing around. I know this will be a big shock to you all with more AI. And I'm not totally sure that I understand why this is called AI. So I'm working on a presentation that I'm doing. And this is called Beautiful AI. if you guys are watching on the replay, you can fast forward for like 4 minutes because I'm going to be chatting about stuff that's not directly related to the course. It's called Beautiful AI. You can put in your brand colors by editing the theme, and it will make whatever you have in here those colors. I did not know that in the beginning, and so I manually changed all the colors. What I think is super cool about it is when you want to add a slide, your options are really cool ass slides and slides that are a pain in the butt to make otherwise. So that part's really, really, really cool. I don't totally get why it's AI generated. That part does not make sense to me. But I do think that it creates really cool slides very easily. And let me go back. So let's say I'm in here and I'm like, I don't want that picture. I can go to replace picture, and I guess this is AI-ish. I can say happy face. And it will search these images for happy faces that I could pop in instead. And I think that I think I did a free trial, and it was giving me access to like a certain number of these. And then when you upgrade, you get access to all of them. And then you can use these images, and they're pulling from places like Unsplash and stock photos and places like that. So I really like it. You can also upload your find in slides. What? Oh, that's cool. You can also upload your own with this import button, which I did later in the presentation. This slide they created, so you can go in here and you set the words, like I wanted productivity big, I wanted all these to be smaller.
Amber, are you doing something that we should be seeing?
Yes.
Please.
Thank you for speaking up, y'all. What are you letting me do over here? All right. What I've been trying to tell you is about an AI-driven software. I'm trying to pull it up right now. It's giving me a hard time. Can you see something that looks really pretty with the word productivity in it? I can't see your faces, so you have to say yes or no.
Yes,
Yep.
we got it.
Thank you. Okay. So this is a tool called Beautiful AI. It's to build out slide decks. And if you want to change the branding, so this is my branding, you can go to colors, you can go to edit theme, and it will change the branding throughout the whole thing, which saves you a shit ton of time. I mentioned that I did not know that, and so I did it all manually. You can, here are the slides that I've created so far. They're really beautiful. And I was saying that I don't know exactly why this is called AI. I don't totally get it. I just think it's a simple to use program. But what I really do love about it is that they have these really nicely organized, very cool looking slide decks or slides. And you can click and you can pick one and quickly change it into your branding. I've used this one a whole lot. And these aren't typical slides that you would see in Canva or something like that. So pretty neat program. The pricing is $12 a month for the paid version. The paid version simply means that you would not have this here. I don't really mind that, so I don't know that I will bother to pay. But you can change the text options. You can adjust. Oh, that looks better. You can adjust the layout, etc. I like it the other way, but let's just try a few. That looks cool too. I mean, I like all of them. So that's just something to be aware of if you're needing to make slide decks for something. It's another form of AI. The only thing I can think of that's true AI, and this just might be me being dumb, is you can change the picture and you can search by something like sad face, and it will grab images from stock photo, Unsplash, all these different places, and bring them all into this program, and you can pick the option from there. So instead of like scrolling through a whole lot of stuff, you can find things more easily. So I just wanted to show you that because I thought it might be a cool tool. And we've talked a lot about AI and AI making our lives a little bit easier. So I wanted to show you. All right, I'm going to close out of that and we're going to get rolling. I'm going to try to close out of that and then we're going to get rolling. The danger, I guess I should tell you this because it could be an issue for you. When you do have multiple screens, one of the things that you could face is stuff pops up in different places that you don't expect. So let's say you're talking with a client in Zoom and you go to share your screen. It might go to a different, like the share button might show up on a different one of the screens than you were prepared for. And so then you have to go searching for that, like, how do I stop the share? Especially if you share the wrong thing, then it can be a little frantic to try to hurry up and get that share down. So just be aware of that. All right, I redropped our Google Doc for today. Really happy with today's lesson because you guys have done some very heavy lifting in your work so far. And I feel like this lesson is a little lighter on your brain. It's not going to feel like, oh shit. I hope it doesn't feel like, oh shit, I have a ton more to do. I should do a temperature check at the end. Maybe I won't, maybe I don't want to know. So let me share my screen. I'm going to be looking over to my right because that's where it is on my screen. Let me make it a little bit bigger for you in case you're following along there. Woo, that's quite big on my screen. Let me see what it looks like on yours. Show me. Okay, great. So this week, we're going to be talking about breadcrumbs. I've mentioned breadcrumbs to you many times now, how we have to lead people from where they are to where they can sign up with you. Today, we are putting that into action. I'm going to give you some very tangible step-by-steps of how to do this. All right, you guys know all of this stuff. Your quote for this week is meet your clients where they are emotionally and physically, whether that's online or in person, and walk them, hold their hands to where you can best serve them, which is probably going to be your website. All righty. To recap, just so you can remember all the things you've already done, the most important thing you can do is clarity about your flow client. That's the number one thing for you to accomplish in this course. The more you know them, the better copy you're going to write, and the more you're going to be able to know where the hell to find them. Because we have to know those two things. We have to know where the hell are they, so we can get in front of them and walk them to where they can sign up. And we also have to know how to write copy that speaks directly to them. So when they get to that sign up place, they're like, hell yes, you're my soul therapist. I have to work with you. It's $500 an hour. Okie dokie, take my money, right? That's where we want people to be. So all your work on your flow client may include things like diagnosis, demographics, but probably it's mostly going to be personality style. Might also be your treatment style. So, you know, if somebody came to see me and they were like, I just want you to give me skill building, they're really not my client. You know, like that works for business coaching for me. But if I like to conceptualize, I like to help them know where things come from. If they're not into that, they're not into our work together. Your copy is going to help you get those pain points on point, hope points, bridge, and your distilled message. And the place that those things show up are going to be your website, your directory listings, your elevator pitch, random conversations that you have with people out in the world, and your content. So let's take a look at where we're working. And in your own document, you could put like little check marks or emojis next to the stuff that you've done so that you can give yourself credit for those things. Relationship marketing is connecting one-to-one or one-to-many. It could be reaching out to your current clients' providers, your past clients to check in. I'll talk more about that in a second. Reconnecting with old colleagues, connecting with your providers. And then if all that doesn't work, only then are we going to consider expanding to a cold or slightly warm network. The one thing in this list we haven't talked about yet is the mental health checkup for former clients. How many of you have former clients in your private practice? Insurance, EAP, tech company, it doesn't matter. Okay, a few of you. So what this can look like is just, and you have to make sure that this is cool, like it follows with your relationship with this person. It's not gonna feel like it's coming out of nowhere, et cetera, et cetera. But you're just gonna send them a little email or however you communicate with them saying, hey, I just wanted to check in on you. It's been a while since we've touched base. I also wanted to let you know that once a year, I'm offering 30-minute mental health checkups for any of my previous patients, or however you would say it. Now, what is this, you guys? It's just your free consultation. It's just your free consultation with somebody that you know. It's not like you're really offering additional free services. But what we have found is that lots of people just don't have you front of mind anymore. And they would actually like to be in therapy again. And all they needed was for you to put yourself in the front of their minds. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so glad you reached out. You're never going to believe what happened last week. I've been dying to talk to you. And they sign up for that free consult. Now, something that one of our former students did that was just freaking beautiful. I think it was Andrea. I'm pretty sure it was Andrea. She did like a true assessment. You know, in that 30 minutes, she was basically doing like a mini biopsychosocial, you know, like, okay, I remember that you had some relationship struggles. Where are we with relationships? I remember that you were having trouble sleeping. Let's talk about where you're at with that. What new stuff has come up since we've been talking before? We really focused on these themes when we were talking last. Where are things with you there? So she kind of looked at their notes beforehand and grabbed some stuff from those notes, which I think made a big difference because they felt super cared for and like, oh, you remember me? You know, not really, but I looked at my notes. So she really made it individualized to them. And her rate of people coming back into therapy was very, very high. And then she created, now I'm going off on a slight tangent, but I think it's helpful. She created very unique offers around this. So if she did that 30-minute check-in, but they didn't need therapy, she could sell them into let's do a quarterly 50-minute tune-up, a little mental health tune-up, 50-minute mental health tune-up, or 90-minute mental health tune-up once a quarter. And so then she had a reason to reach out, a reason to schedule, and then they paid for those sessions. So you can really, don't think that if you do that mental health checkup and they're like, yeah, I don't need to be in 50-minute sessions once a week. That doesn't mean that they don't need your support. You can say, so our options from here, it sounds like you're good. You don't need to be in ongoing therapy. Our options for here is I'll just reach out to you again in a year and see if I'm still in practice and not in my side hustle, see where you are. And if you want to do the mental health checkup again, or if you want to do some quarterly tune-up sessions, we can go ahead and book those out now. And obviously they're just placeholders if you need to move them around as we get closer. I know you don't really know your schedule 3 months from now, right? So getting it on the books, closing the loop is very helpful. If you just say, sure, we'll do quarterly check-ins, and then you wait to hear from them, you're not going to hear from them. So just get it in the books, even if you know that meeting is going to get moved as you get closer, and then reach out to them like 2 weeks before the meeting, say, hey, I want to check in and see if that time still works or if we need to wiggle it around a little bit. Does that make good sense? Okay. Part of the marketing strategy behind this, there's a clinical strategy and there's a marketing strategy. From a clinical side, you already have an invested relationship with these folks. And most people have shit going down in their lives, right? New level, new devil. Even if they're doing great, we know that as we rise into different parts of our functioning, whether we're moving towards self-actualization or we're changing jobs and moving up the corporate ladder, as we hit a new level, it's that old devil that comes back to come up. So if you have imposter syndrome, you start going up to private pay from insurance, guess what? That imposter syndrome is going to show up. The same kind of stuff happens with their clients. So even if they're doing better and better and better, you could even frame that to them like, hey, just pay attention, new level, old devil. We have an opportunity to get to work through at a higher level some of those things that come up for us over and over and over again. So if you're noticing like, what the hell are my daddy issues coming up? I thought I worked through those. Just know you've probably rose to another level, and life likes to give us a chance to work through some stuff at a different level. So that stuff can be really helpful just to lay the groundwork. Now, from the marketing side, it is exponentially easier to have a person who's bought from you in the past buy from you again than it is to get a new customer. So whether you're selling side hustle stuff or you're selling therapy, it's easier because the relationship is warmer. They already like you. They already know you. They already trust you. You're not having to earn that with a brand new person. So even in the marketing world of side hustles, we often talk about, I'll give you this example. If I'm trying to sell something to the online therapist group, the conversion rate is like less than 1%. If I'm trying to sell to people who've already bought something from me, it's 20 to 40%. That's a huge freaking difference, huge difference. So keep that in mind. It's super duper helpful to go back to people who have bought before, whether that's in therapy or even referrals. People who have referred to you before are more likely to refer to you again than some new referral. Okie dokie. Now, content marketing. And you'll see that I left these guys, no, I'm not sharing my screen again. I'm like out of breath. Okay. Content marketing. I left these first guys blank because I really wanted you to focus your initial effort either in relationship marketing or findability with Google My Business, testimonials, Reddit AMA, and the headers and the subheaders. Okay. So if you're like, where the hell do I focus my energy? I put these in order. All right, but let's talk about, let's go over here. Let's talk about these things first. So if you don't have your Google business profile set up, please, y'all, please prioritize it. Please prioritize it. It's super duper important. I just had a gardener come out to the house and they did great work. And I was like, I really want to leave you a review. And I was like, give me the link. Now, here's what he did wrong. He's like, just Google me and it should come up. No, y'all never do that. Just give the link, make it easy for people, right? But I did Google him and no Google My Business showed up. No Facebook business page, no Google My Business. So I had to message him. I'm like, hey, I don't think you have a Google My Business page. Here's how to do it. Here's a little video. Let me know when it's done. I'll write you a review. So make sure you get that profile page up. Testimonials, super important, but if you, and remember, we've talked about this, but just to recap, do not solicit testimonials from your clients. Don't do it. It's not a good look. Therapists aren't going to refer to you if they see that on your site. Now, if they happen to leave you a review somewhere, you cannot control that. Just don't solicit the review. But we do want as many freaking 5-star ratings on your Google business profile as possible. If they have the same last name as you, probably not a good idea. Just to put that out there. I've seen it happen. We get desperate. Different last names would be better. And, if you're married to the person, you have a different last name, like make sure that it's not real obvious out in the world. And ask colleagues for either to leave you a star rating or a review and make it easy for them. Have I shared with you guys a template for this? No. Okay. Let me think about this a minute, because I want to do what's quick and easy, and that's going to make it harder for everyone. I'm going to give myself a to-do list. What I'm going to see if I can do is I'm going to see if I can write it up for you in Google Surveys in a way where you could just make a copy of it and then adapt it in your own language. Because ideally, what I would like it to look like is people struggle with the writing. I really want to write a review for my coach, but she's so amazing that it's really hard for me to know, like, what do I say to really help her in her business? Like, she's awesome. That doesn't really tell anybody anything. So I haven't done it. It's been 2 years. I haven't written the stupid thing, right? So sometimes the more people like you, the harder it is for them to write the review. Or sometimes it's people like my mom who just struggle to write, period. Like, she gets super nervous around it. So if we can give them an easy win, say, hey, give me the stars, right? That's one thing. Then I would, Bella, no, ma'am, no. Then I would give them some prompts, and I'll write it up for you. But the prompts would be something like, how are you feeling before? No, because we're writing for a colleague. Switch gears, Am. What is it about how I work with clients that you think makes me a good therapist? I don't know, I'm making some shit up here, right? So any prompt that's going to give them some quick, like, oh, well, what's unique about you is da 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 da, right? What's unique about Hillary is she blah 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 blah. And then the next one might be something like, if somebody were thinking about getting into therapy with me and you could tell them just one thing, what would that be? And then they're going to typey, right? And then we're going to leave a blank space that says, if you want to write, your own review, that's awesome. Here are the links to Google My Business. Here's a link to Facebook business profile. If you're feeling like you don't really know how to structure it, just give me your email below and I will write it up based on what you said above and send it to you along with the links. And then you can adapt it as you'd like. But they all freaking over that. If my coach would just give me some damn prompts so I could write what I thought without thinking about how it was going to come across, and then she would piecemeal it together, I would be totally on it. So I will write that up for you. Let me put it in a place where I'll actually remember, which is going to be my Apple reminders. Let me put it in the right reminder. Today's focus. Write up prompts for testimonials for Google survey. Can it be a copyable template? I don't know about y'all, but I always think I'm gonna remember stuff, and then I look and I've said like 3 words and I have no idea what those words mean in my reminder. So I have to, if I don't write all the things, it's not gonna happen. All right, let's go back. Awesome. Okay, good. The Reddit AMA, if you're feeling like eager beavers about this and you already have the time and space to do it, the training's already in the course. So you can go in and watch the recording of that training. I can't recommend it strongly enough. For me, it's second only to your Google business profile. But unlike the Google business profile, where you can pretty much make it up as you go along and it's going to be fine, the Reddit AMA does require that you go through the free training at a minimum. There is a vibe in Reddit, and there are all sorts of spoken and unspoken rules, and you don't want to go astray. And I'll give you a specific example. If you come across as a holier than thou, expert kind of person, they are not going to like you. So there is definitely a culture and a tone in there, and you want to strike that to have success. But even if you didn't have success, it would probably help your SEO. So either way, I really, really want you to do it. Okay. And you already know about this piece. Okay. And then we're down into content marketing. You guys have already rocked the long form content, talked about making sure that you're sharing it and putting it on social media. We've talked a little bit about getting it in front of other people's audiences, and then long form to short form, other people's audiences. So that's our recap of where we are. Is everybody feeling like, okay, I've been making progress. I've done some of the important things. I'm on the right track. Love it. Michelle, did you have a question, or are you saying a CSE? A CSE. Okay, great. All right, so let's talk through the breadcrumbs, because I think that of all the places people can fall off, this is where it happens. And I hear from therapists all the time, I have my website up, I have my directory listing up, why aren't I getting clients? And it's probably because of the breadcrumb situation. So we use breadcrumbs to lead people from where they are to where we are, where that sign up opportunity is. And I'm going to give you some examples. These should sound familiar. We're going to just try to get your creative muscles flexing here. Sorry, I got to get you back on my screen. Remember, you might have a worksheet, for example, at a dental office on dentist anxiety, and it offers helpful tips to somebody who's suffering. And then you're like, but why didn't I get clients? I gave the worksheet. Well, that's because you didn't breadcrumb that worksheet back to you. How do we make it as easy as possible for them to get back to us from that worksheet? We put a QR code on there, linking them to our website. Now, that's good, but why are they going to go to our website? Like, why would they follow that QR code? Unless we're promising them something that would be helpful to them. So that's the breadcrumb. The QR code makes it easy. The breadcrumb is what's the cool shit that we're sending them to on the website. So we don't want to say, learn more on my website. People aren't following that link. But if you say, if those 5 tips were helpful, here's a guided meditation or visualization or distraction you can listen to while you're at the dentist's office. Follow this QR code. Now, I'm going to follow that one. Even if I'm not that interested in it, I'm going to be like, oh, I wonder what this is. I'm curious. I'm going to click the link. I'm going to follow it. That's going to take me to a place on your website that has that video or that audio so they can listen to it while they're in the dentist's office. And then we're probably going to have a pop-up or something like that, or at the end of it say, hey, if you want more help on how to decrease your anxiety, whether it be at your dentist's office or in life, then just schedule a free consult with me and we can see if I might be a good fit for you to work on that. So you know what I'm saying. Okay, so we've just gently led them back. Where you all can be superstars at this process is just by stepping into your empathy shoes. Just really get out of, I'm a therapist and I'm marketing, leave that behind and think, I am somebody who likes to help people. How can I help this person? Oh, how can I help them some more? Oh, how can I help them some more? And because there are a million ways to help people, we just want to pick the ones that are going to lead back to our website. Okay? There are millions of ways to help. We also use the breadcrumbs, not just to take them from where they are to where we are, but also to warm them up a little bit. So if they are not quite ready for therapy, we can use the breadcrumbs to get them ready for therapy. So they're in the dentist's office, they're anxious as hell, and we're just helping them calm down. They don't think that they need therapy. They just think that they need to not go to the dentist quite so often. In that same worksheet, we can talk to them about how anxiety at the dentist might be from, this is not my specialty, might be from some traumatic issue in their childhood and how resolving that can end up resolving the anxiety at the dentist, or how anxiety can generalize. And if they feel anxious at the dentist, they might notice themselves starting to feel a little bit anxious at the barber because the chairs are kind of the same, or a little anxious in airplanes, et cetera, et cetera. And in order to not let this generalize to inhibit their life even more, they should get ahead of this now, and therapy with you can help them get there. So we can move them from move them across stages of change. And gave some other examples here. I'm not going to bore you with them because I just gave you some more. One really easy one to do this with is with relationship issues. You might have noticed there are people Googling, how can I be less jealous? Everybody tells me I'm too jealous in my relationships. And having worked in a college counseling center, what I most often saw with those folks is that they weren't jealous enough. That if they were jealous, it was because there were actually reasons, there were signs showing up in their relationship that were cueing them like, it's not going well over here and your radar should be up. But they didn't want to hear that. They didn't want to hear that radar, so they put it under the umbrella of jealousy. And their partner didn't want to hear that radar, so they put it under the umbrella of jealousy. So that's somebody who's not, if they're ready for therapy, they're ready to work on their jealousy, not the other stuff. You can slowly do YouTube videos or something like that that leads them to understand that sometimes jealousy is shit you need to work on. Sometimes jealousy is shit your partner should have been working on. That would be an awesome YouTube video or an awesome worksheet or an awesome infographic. and we can move them to becoming ready to work in therapy. I shouldn't even, sometimes I tell you guys things that later I'm like, why the hell did I tell them that? So one of the things that I often talk to people in therapy about is how, if you can notice the patterns that are showing up in your relationships of origin, that also show up in your relationships with friends or with your intimate partner, that they'll also sometimes show up in therapy. It's the interpersonal process thing. And if you can work on that issue in any of those places, whichever one feels easiest and safest, that the results will generalize to the other places, that you'll be able to have a better life all the way around. I talk to my clients about this all the damn time. When I go to my therapist after a breakup with somebody I later found out was narcissistic, I was like, why do I even leave this person? Because obviously I'm a person who picks narcissistic people. I'm going to just keep doing it. At least I know this narcissistic person. He had to educate me on, like, do you remember the purpose of therapy, right? The purpose of therapy is to help you to not pick another narcissist. I was like, yes, that's right. That's right. That's what therapy does. Yes, I was in the pre-contemplative stage of that issue. I was just here to vent, right? So we can move people along. All right. Let's think. So this is your homework. I want you to begin thinking on it now. Where do you already have stuff out in the physical world, helpful shit, or out in the online therapy space where there need to be some breadcrumbs between those things? So you might be thinking about, I have some posts on social media, but none of them are sending people back to my website. Or I made a YouTube video, but I didn't put any like writing content in there that would lead them to want to take a look at my website or join my email list. So I want you in the chat just to pop down some places where you exist in the physical world or in the online world that maybe need some breadcrumbs to get folks back to your website. I'm going to kick the dog out while you're thinking. Okay, baby, I hear you. I hear you. Social media post, associated blog post, website consult button. That's exactly right, Sarah. That's exactly what we're talking about. Okay, Lori says, so if I have a QR code on my postcard, good copy, that leads to a guided meditation on my website, that leads them to my YouTube with a link back to my website to schedule. Yes, that's perfect. Perfect. Have a YouTube with a few videos I completely forgot about. Yes, yes, yes. So we can use that. Have IG and business Facebook. Amazing. Yes, that's what we're talking about. Use what you've already got. Yes. Oh, personal Facebook page is a brilliant example. So I loved using my personal business page, and I got a lot of clients from stuff that I put on my personal business page. So anytime you make something helpful, definitely share that on your page. And the call to action that I always used was something like, not always, but often used was, somebody in your life needs to hear this. Somebody in your life would benefit from hearing this. I know you might not want to tag them publicly, but at least share this to your page so that they might see it. And that got a ton of shares. Obviously, I'm not going to do therapy with my Facebook friends, but I will do it with their Facebook friends. So yes, personal Facebook page is a great place to share. Yeah. How else do you get Facebook business page liked or seen? I think about the Facebook business page as just people are going there to check you out from having found you somewhere else. They're literally going to Google your name, and your Facebook business page needs to show up. So pro tip, if your Facebook business page is named your business name, add your actual name to it as well. So if it's restorative counseling, Michelle Scott, that's good. But if it's just restorative counseling, that's not good, because people aren't going to look that up. So I wouldn't worry about getting the page liked. I wouldn't even worry that much about getting it like seen, like my post getting seen. I would think instead people are going to land here because they found me on a directory or they saw my YouTube videos or my Reddit and they're Googling me. They're Google stalking me. So let me make sure that when they land here, it looks decent. So the posting. What I like to tell folks is with a Facebook business page, we don't need to go crazy with posting. I don't want you spending time there even every week, much less every day. I would get 30 posts written, and then I would just schedule them out and have them rotate on your page over and over again. Same 30 posts over and over and over again. No, I mean, honestly, like hardly anybody's seeing it anyway. And if you have 30 posts and they're coming after each other, nobody's gonna scroll down past 30 posts. So even if they landed on your page and they're like, let me check out every post she made, they're gonna get bored by the time they get to the 30th one, they're gonna stop. All right. And you can do the same with any social media. Okay. Let's go back to our slides. So let's think through each of the categories. Let me make sure it's sharing. Yes. So if we think about breadcrumbs and relationship marketing, we can think about who have I already connected with? And I know many of you have like gone hard at relationship marketing, so I'm talking to you. Who have I already connected with? And what would be the next step in either staying front of mind or deepening the relationship that's not annoying, right? We don't want to be annoying. So, you know, maybe I talked with my gynecologist while I was there, and you know, we talked about why people get anxious when they go there, and I mentioned like maybe I could create something. Tell me what your people need. Okay, I'll think about that. Well, I have an easy in. I can go back and say, hey, I talked to Dr. So-and-so when I was here last. We talked about me making something. Here's what I made. Can you put it out in the waiting room and make sure Dr. So-and-so gets a copy so she can share it with her patients in the office? Okay. So that was my follow-up. My next follow-up is going to be, hey, wanted to check and see if folks were using the handouts and if you need more, or if it didn't really hit the mark and something else might be better, right? That's now, if they don't respond, we're not going to keep following up. Right? We're going to give our attention to those places where we're getting some sort of active response back. But just think through what are going to be the breadcrumbs. So I'd like you, if you're doing relationship marketing, to share in the chat what you're thinking in terms of your breadcrumb plan. And I'm going to read Lori's question here while you're typing. Can you say that again about business name and personal name? My business is LL Counseling and Wellness. So should I add my name on my website? Okay, great question. So it doesn't really matter what you're incorporated as. So it could be LL Counseling and Wellness as your incorporated thing. And remember that that business name needs to be in the footer of your website on every page. It needs to be on all of your paperwork. It's important that that business name is on there for legal purposes. But for marketing purposes, we want your name attached to everything that's marketing related. Your business name isn't marketing related. So that doesn't, you don't need to change your business name. But on your website, for sure, you want to have the domain LL Counseling and Wellness and a domain that is your name. So people are more likely to Google your name. On your Facebook page, if your Facebook page is called LL Counseling and Wellness, I would say with Lori, and I don't see your last name on my screen right now, but in your last name. So you can change the name of that business page. And I would do the same across all of your social media. Yeah, we want your name to show up for sure, for sure. Unless you're hiding from a stalker, in which case we create exceptions to that rule. Okay, so let's see what we have here. My relationship strategy is a thank you card. After the first meeting, I suggest we should get together again so I can learn more about their clients' pain points. But can you share your thoughts on how to get someone to meet with you for coffee or lunch? I get more success when I offer to pay for coffee or lunch versus just suggesting we get together. Yeah, you can definitely see that. What is the purpose of the coffee or lunch? And you can turn your mic on and just talk for a minute. So like, what's our crumb? Is it just the promise of food and coffee? Like what's the other reason that they might come?
I mean, now that we've kind of been chatting and like thinking more about this, I think the reason is more about learning about their pain point that they kind of are experiencing right now, at least for, because usually who I'm thinking of are a lot of my referrals come from other medical offices or other like psychiatry practices. And so it's usually trying to figure out what are they experiencing and now what do they not have a resource for. So that would be one piece that I think I could kind of come at it from that angle. Um, but I've also just noticed like the barrier to get someone to follow up with you again in real life is really, really high. So
Really, really high.
mhm.
I might make a Google survey or some sort, use whatever survey you want. And we always want to make it very easy to answer. So I might send the survey and say, hey, I love to create free resources for medical professionals or whatever the hell you want to say. Here are some examples of the kind of pain points that I'm hearing from other offices. Can you just check any that apply to your office? Or you might not even say free resources. I'm just trying to get to know like what your staff needs or what your patients need. These are some of the things that I'm hearing from other offices. Can you just click on any of these that apply to you? And then you can have a blank space underneath that says, what else is going on that might be helpful for me to know? I'd love to like send the right people to you, maybe create some free resources. So I would say, and if you'd rather talk in person, I would love to meet you for coffee. Here's a Calendly link or whatever link to schedule some time for us to get together for coffee. I see that there's a Starbucks near you on such and such street and and et cetera, et cetera. Just make it super duper easy.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about suggesting like a location right near them. Like that's a good idea. So
Yeah. I mean, that really moved me. I remember somebody doing that when I was working in a college counseling center. 'Cause everybody wanted to network with us because they wanted our clients. We were busy. I didn't want to, and I'm introverted. I didn't want to network. But when somebody said there's a Thai place right near you, I was like, oh yeah, I love Thai food. Like they didn't offer to pay or anything, but I was like, yeah, I could be down for some Thai food right now. Okay, yeah, let's do that. It made it a much easier yes. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, you guys are doing a great job. Okay. Michelle says, I'm going to reach out to former clients and offer the wellness check-in, email to offer self-care tips to my current clients. Love that. And reach out to referral sources, new and old. And also I'm going to 2 therapist networking events this week. Amazing. That's amazing. 2 therapist networking events. I wonder what. Go ahead.
They're offered monthly, actually, and I haven't been able to attend. So I live in Sacramento and there's 3 offered in the surrounding areas. So it's just a bunch of therapists coming together and getting to know each other and then hopefully create, referral basis.
Amazing. They probably already have like some sort of referral document, like a Google Doc or something like that.
Yeah.
But if you don't, you could easily offer to create that for them. And those things can be really easily automated as well. So
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
awesome. Oh, that's exciting. Hillary says, I was thinking more of reaching out to current clients, providers. Good. For instance, my client who was seeing a particular woman's physical therapy provider. Yes, I help process through birth trauma. Yes, yes, yes. And that is such a specific niche that it's an easy in for you to be able to say, like, who else do you think I should get in touch with that might like be a good service for my clients, or who might need resources for people who have been through birth trauma. That's a really great in. It's the beauty of having such a clean niche. Love it. Love it. Love it. Hillary, is it you who also talks people through pain-free birth?
No.
Okay. Somebody I know was talking about that recently and I had a referral. Okay. Lori says the PT was to help the client physically recover from the birth. So I'm not sure what else to do other than reach out and say you were really helpful to my client if you have a release. I wanted to reach out and add you to my referral list for other clients that need this type of physical therapy. I would actually see like, if you can say my client, I would say you're super helpful to my client, and it just left me really curious about how that works. Would you be down? Like, I'll buy you a coffee, a Starbucks, whatever, just to spend like 20 minutes, just educating me a little bit about how that works, because I would love to send more referrals your way. And I know if I had a clear idea of what the process is like, the referrals would be more successful, more likely to follow through. Yeah, I love that. Again, you guys hear, I hope you're hearing the thread of the more specific and tangible the reason to connect is, the more likely you're going to get follow through. I was just working with a coaching client on messaging for this amazing offer that she has, because I've been seeing her posts on social media, but her posts are so vague that you don't know what the heck she does. You know, she's like, I'm a coach and I'm a business coach and I help consultants grow their practice. And I'm like, I mean, I have no idea. Like, are you doing mindset work? Are you doing some sort of step-by-step framework? Like, what are we doing? What's the pain point to the hope point? What's the bridge here? If people don't know what it is, they're not going to click. All right. QR codes, you can just Google it. They're free. Canva also Daniel says the same thing. Canva also creates QR codes for you, and they're super duper, like, two-step process. Very, very easy to add on. All right, let's move from relationships to findability. So remember that we talked about SEO hacks, like, have you hacked SEO by getting on YouTube? Have you hacked SEO by getting a Facebook business page? Have you hacked SEO by doing your Reddit? And if you have, where do we need to lead people from our breadcrumb path from there to your website? I'm going to show you some cool stuff here. And if someone doesn't book on the first page, what are you leading them to get them ready to book? So let me show you. I'm not going to show you that yet. I'm going to show you something cool. I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go here. Okay. So this is Fran. Fran took this method and she created some little YouTube videos. And I'll show you here. I don't know if you'll hear the audio. Nod your head yes if you do. Hold on.
Timeouts are an important tool in relational life therapy. Here are the 10 rules for timeouts. 1, only use timeouts when things are starting to get really ugly. 2, you call a timeout on yourself, not your partner. I don't like how I'm feeling right now. 3, offer an explanation and a commitment to return. I need time to calm down. I'll be back in an hour. 4, use the timeout gesture if you need to. 5, don't let yourself get stopped. Stop talking and leave. 6, check in at intervals, 1 hour, 3 hours, half a day, a whole day. 7, the goal is to stop destructive behavior, so get yourself calm. 8, don't come back until you are truly ready to make peace with your partner. 9, wait 24 hours to return to the topic. 10, if you can't resolve your problems, please get professional help. Follow me for more relationship skills.
Hear that call to action there? So she made that video. I don't remember if she made it on YouTube or TikTok. And then you saw that she hashtagged it. You don't have to do that, but she linked to her freaking website on that post, right? I know for a fact she shared these on TikTok too. So I think she shared them on YouTube. She shared them on Facebook. She shared them on TikTok. So wherever the hell they saw it, she had links to go back to her website. So you'll see here, here's her website. Here are all of her relationship tip videos, all like less than a minute. Less than a minute. You know enough about your subject to make 10 videos under less than a minute. All right, so look what she just said. So this was after she had done 2 or 3 videos, just received the first email generated by my videos. Then a little bit later in the day, 2 today, I'm a little freaked out. So it works, it works, it works. Then we have Lisa created a blog post that she then put on Medium, okay? And people started following it. So 5 things you need to heal after a dramatic loss or life change. Then she shares, brace yourself because Amber's going to break out in the happy dancing with me. I got a second full fee client this week who is interested in working with me in part, are you ready for this? Because of my list of favorite books on my website, which they found because they clicked on this link, followed to the website, found the list of books that she was like, I love these books, you should read them, and then called her. Okay, breadcrumbs, breadcrumbs. Oh, so freaking exciting. Morgan did a Reddit that went just buck wild. It went wild. It linked back to her website. Her Reddit is not normal in the amount of traction that she got, but she has clients. It's been years now since she's done that Reddit, and she still gets full pay clients. She's over $200 an hour, maybe $250, coming into her practice because of the Reddit she did years ago. So in her Reddits, you'll notice that she links to her website at the top once the Reddit is over. And occasionally, and she's a master at this, she can also link back to her blog if she's written a cool blog that they might be interested in. Carol Cavelli, this is her Reddit, which also led to therapy clients. This is Maggie Dickens' TikTok, which is led to coaching clients. She's a coach. And then Vanita said that she reached out to her former clients. She reached out to 7 clients to trial the free 30-minute mental health checkup, and she already had 2 that took her up on that offer. So I'm hoping those things will get you inspired, because what sometimes happens is we start to feel like, I'm doing so many things and I don't know which of these things is leading to clients. And everybody talks about, like, they start getting clients and it feels like magic fairy dust. They're not really sure, like, what the hell is it that I did that's leading to me getting clients? And it is either the breadcrumbs, you're leading them directly from one healthy thing to your website, or it's the SEO magic that happens when you put things out across lots of places. I call this your light but broad online presence. And the SEO gods are like, oh, they're existing everywhere. They must be important. Let me put their site in front of people. Okay. It happened to me more times than I can count that I would do something random online. Like I would have a 2-hour stint of feeling motivated, and I'd make some Facebook posts, I'd make a quick little YouTube video or whatever. And then it was always like 2 weeks later. It wasn't immediately, but like 2 weeks later, all of a sudden I would start getting a lot more calls. So there was something that was happening on the back end that I couldn't track directly. So do your very best to make it breadcrumbs and tracked directly. Sometimes it just doesn't work that way. Sometimes it just feels like magic. Michelle says another great spot to share helpful tips is on Nextdoor. Yes, I totally forgot about Nextdoor. And their SEO has grown immensely, and they are highly utilized by people. So if your community uses Nextdoor a lot, then it's definitely a great place to post things. Always have your caveat about this is not a place for, this doesn't constitute therapy. If you're in crisis, call here, do this, all that kind of stuff. Really good. Thursday, we're going to be working on breadcrumbs. So you want to come prepared with some place that you exist, either in person or online, that needs some breadcrumbing back to your website. So that might be that we're creating more content. It might be that you're just dropping links in where you haven't had links before. It might be that you're dropping in hashtags where you didn't have hashtags before. We can come up with your plan when we meet, but make sure that you have someplace you're existing online, or you create one before then, or someplace you exist in the physical world, or you create one before then, and then we're going to breadcrumb it back. And lastly, before we go, raise your hand again if you're thinking about side hustles. Okay. So just so you know, people, when they create any sort of business, when they're teaching it, like I'm teaching it to you, it sounds fairly linear. Do this, do this, do this, do this. But in the real world, what actually happens is we get excited, we create something cool, we throw it up online, and then a year later, we remember that we created something cool, we threw it up online, we never did anything with it. So that's totally normal. You're not doing it wrong. That's just what happens. I'm trying to pull something up for you. I'm going to share my screen. So this, of course, has happened in my business as well. And Chantel and I met this morning. Oops. Chantel and I met this morning, and we're just trying to figure out, like, how the hell do we get everybody to where they need to be, right? So here are all the things that I sell, and then in purple are things that I'm gonna be selling. And here are all of the ways.
Amber, we can't see the right screen. I don't know what we're looking at.
Is it showing you like a graph?
No, it's just a little bar that says audience to offers, Amber and Chantel.
Thank you. Let me try that again. Let's pull you over here. This is the multiple screen issue that we were talking about. Okay, here we go. Okay, thank you for saying something. So over here on the right are all the things that I sell, with the purple being things that I'm gonna sell. And here are all the ways that we have our audience in our system, our email system, broken into bits. And we could not for the life of us figure out, like, why did we come up with these different audiences, and how the hell do they connect to the actual offers of things that I sell? And how do we make this whole freaking system work better? Because it was a hot mess. I just create stuff that I think is going to be helpful to people. And at some point, we created this organizational system that does not work anymore. And so we're having to redo the whole thing, which is not that big of a deal. We're just basically going to do it with a survey. Like, hey, where are you in your life? If you're here, then this offer might be helpful. If you're here, then this offer might be helpful. And I just wanted to show you that because I think it can feel a little overwhelming to try to think about, like, how do I make all the things line up? And it is important to make them line up so people actually find you, but you're never going to do it perfectly. There are always going to be gaps, and we're just doing the best we can. If you just sprinkle stuff out there in the ether, that's still good because it's moving up your SEO. When you connect them with breadcrumbs, it's great. So we're just going good to great. Pressure off. I've been making lots of money for several years, even though none of that stuff lined up appropriately. So, well, some of it, but not most of it. Okay, so you will be okay either way. Just, we're gonna try to connect some breadcrumbs, and we're gonna do that on Thursday. All right, friends, I will see you soon. Take good care of yourself. Come ready, because we're gonna create some stuff. Okay, bye.